Alright, it's November 30th. And I'm back on my property after a good hunt last night. I was across the field, probably 150 yards in that little tree that I was standing. But almost the exact opposite wind tonight. So as you can see, I'm in the NXTGen blind this evening. This is my first actual hunt out of here. And I put it up for this reason. Obviously, if you've watched my hunts, you know that I always prefer to be in a tree stand. But there are certain times where a blind just makes sense. And to me, those reasons are one, taking kids hunting, or inclement weather, or like tonight's purpose is just to be able to hunt in a less than ideal wind. I don't have a great setup on this field for a northwest wind. I haven't figured one out anyways as far as where I can get in and get out. If I was to hunt that opposite side, which would be ideal, there's just so many deer that bed up over there. I don't know that I'd ever get in on an afternoon hunt without bumping deer out of there. So I put this blind here for this reason, to be able to hunt when it blows into where a lot of the deer are. You're just basically taking this blind and letting it conceal for as much as it can. Obviously, I like to have windows open when I can, for, if nothing else, just for filming purposes. But like I said, this is the reason for this blind. I actually had a chance to go out this summer to visit the NXTGen guys. I've known them for a few years, and then they made the trip to Iowa from Pennsylvania to help put this blind up and see the farm. And I've got kind of a cool access set up to where I can come in on the field side, and then when I leave at the end of the night, I can get through this brush and be pretty much protected. But I got here and I can see that the deer are using my tiny little lane that goes through that brush pile right into the back of the ladder. So I knew there's a chance of that, but let's hope they don't use that tonight, because it'll be basically right underneath me. But these blinds for sure, I haven't hunted, every brand out there, but as far as the ones I have hunted, these by far do the best with scent containment. And that's, like I said, the reason for this blind being here. So I'm just excited for the evening. The weather's great. It's cold. The deer kind of been penned up with all that snowfall and stuff, so I expect them to be on their feet tonight and feeding. So hopefully I can lay eyes on some of these bucks that are around. The countdown is definitely on. That's another reason I didn't want to sit out tonight, is just basically a few days from gun season's opening up, and I pretty much stay out of the woods during shotgun season. So I'm trying to get some good hunts in, but obviously it's, for Iowa, it's gun hunting the rest of the way. So, a lot of these bucks are certainly going to be at jeopardy of being shot from here until season's close. So it changes things a lot. So hopefully I can get it done, basically down to the wire here. There's about 30 deer in front of me right now. A couple of them real close, within 7-8 yards of the blind. Just one good buck. There's a little buck coming out over here. And he's at the far, he's the furthest deer by far. He's at the far end by himself. Down to my last 10 or 15 minutes here. And unfortunately, that buck is working his way this way. But unfortunately, there was a fawn so close to the blind, I didn't see it. I went to switch windows with the camera so I could film him better. I just cracked it just a little bit, and that fawn was right up against the base of the blind, and she saw that window move and blew one time and ran towards the deer, and that's all it took to clear basically the whole field. There's a handful of does left out there, but that buck wasted no time getting out of there. He still had a long ways to come, so who knows if I would have gotten a shot, but I would have liked to find out. It's basically just that kind of late season mentality where one deer can clear the whole field, and I just had way too many deer way too close. At one point there was 5 or 6 within arm's distance of the base of the blind, and I was trying to keep track of them just for my movement, and I just lost track of that one fawn. Just opened the window that's right above her head, and that was it. But man, what a night. I would say right before they spooked, there was probably 40 deer in the field, which is awesome to see on this new property, obviously. Definitely missing some of the bucks. I'm surprised some of the other better ones weren't out here tonight, but hard to complain. I see, 2 good bucks throughout the hunt, and that many deer. That was pretty awesome. All right, it is December 1st, and I'm back in the same NXTGen that I was in last night. A little different story tonight. Yesterday I was hunting in here because of the wind direction. I don't have a good setup on this field for that northwest wind. Tonight, it's just swirling everywhere. It's lightly snowing. I'm just watching the direction of the flakes, and they've gone every direction. It's mostly blowing like a northeast wind, and the forecast said southwest, so exact opposite. If it was going to stay northeast, I could have hunted on the other side in that little tree that I was standing. But it's obviously not going to be consistent, and so I just don't want to sit out any hunts with just a few left until gun season. So I decided to come back to this spot. They moved so well yesterday that I halfway expect this evening to be slower. It's just after 4 o'clock. There's probably 15 deer, including that big 9 from last night. He came out basically the same spot he did yesterday. He's at the back of all these deer. The front does are slowly working this way. They're probably 90 to 100 yards. Right as soon as I finished that interview, the entire group ran right down to me, 25, 30 yards, except for him and one doe. They're still standing at the top of the hill. Not really knowing what happened, so all these deer worked out of the field and kept on going. So maybe he'll slowly feed down this way. He's starting to relax a little bit more now. I don't know what spooked him. There's a lot of coyotes around. There was a coyote that ran through earlier. down to my last few minutes here. I was about to get down when that buck with the kicker worked his way out the field, but I just had 3 does come out right down below me. So I might get stuck for a little bit. But fun night. I thought I was in business with that 9 working his way over here, but something spooked the does that got in front of him, and that was it. I don't know what spooked him, if the wind swirled or if it was something else. These deer are all pretty weary already, it seems like. I don't know if it's a coyotes, a weather combination, but there's a couple bucks coming out up top. Might be the same ones. I think that's gonna be it for the snow, and then it's gonna get really cold, so depending on the wind direction, I assume it's gonna be northwest, but I'm gonna try to make some plays around this area. We'll see what happens. It's, like I said, just a few days till gun season, so hopefully I can get it done.